I'm your fairy goddaddy today, Zeddy, and I'm here to put you on some good shit. Here's another video to debunk shonen supremacy and why it shouldn't be the best-selling genre. These are the top 25 romance anime you might have missed. Let's cook. Starting this list and at the bottom of the pyramid is Siren. Now, this is the tale of a high school guy, Shoichi, who somehow finds himself in a romantic whirlpool of girls, each with their own unique, trauma. Think of it as a dating sim, but you're watching the guy fumble his way through choosing between potential love interests, like every dating game protagonist. It's also one of those anime that'll keep you guessing for what's next. Also, another anime where a protagonist, Shoichi, can't choose between these girls. And you, the audience, are basically sitting there like a reality TV judge screaming, "Pick the brown-haired girl, she's so much better!" The plot twist is that all his love interests have brown hair and are vying for his attention. But what happens if your ship doesn't sail with your favorite girl? You might as well quit the show. But the suspense and intriguing relationship keeps it going. We get awkward crushes, confusing feelings, and drama in every corner. We also get the classic "I'm too shy to confess" trope, so I'll act dumb and turn my brain off if Shoichi comes around. Honestly, it's like watching a slow-motion train wreck, if you're into that. There's no real animosity, but you will find yourself yelling at the screen like, "Dude, pick someone already!" And yes, it'll make you laugh, swoon, and cringe a bit. Following the list is Cinderella Chef at number combinations 2 and 4. A Cinderella story, but Cinderella's not in a cottage. She's just a baddie and a foodie. Our protagonist is a chef who gets thrown isekai'd into a fantastical world where she has to cook up magical dishes and win the heart of a deep shit prince. Baby girl loves to cook, but she also has to deal with culinary rivalry and royal backlash from the ops. And how does she intend to win? Through the power of stir fry to crispy and behold. And yeah, those who get the joke, get it. Want to know what makes this show special? I'll tell you. It's like a mixture of Food Wars, but with spicy romance. Imagine it like this. Every episode of the Food Network was infused with a magical sprinkle of romance. The best part is watching her combine her cooking skills and charm to match the eye of the prince, who's a jerk, but a good-looking jerk. There's tension in every ingredient they mix, and you can practically taste the chemistry between them. The romance feels like a slow-cooked stew, rich, deep, and building for a long while. The show might get toxic in the competitive cooking scenes, but the romance department, it's all sugar and spice. Rolling in at number 23, it's time for Roommates. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love Chinese romance. They do it for me most times, and this one's no different. This story is about roommates. Yeah, we get to see the struggle of high school students sharing a room together, but from the eyes of a girl's dormitory. 2 new students enter the academy, but they're not just 2 students. They're incredibly hot with contrasting personalities. They end up sharing a room with 2 other bland girls who have no choice but to keep up with their timely tantrums. It's a "hey, I don't like you, but I guess we'll be living together from now on" kind of situation. And guess what? It gets even better when the romance triangle begins, creating a whirlpool of drama trauma. They sort of end up falling for the same dude in the drama club. Yeah, crazy. FYI, the romance is lightweight. It's almost nothing to hold compared to the amount of ambition these 2 share. Summing this up, the romance is subtle and sweet with a dash of emotional awkwardness and high school drama. And boy, do we love drama. What we get when 2 tries to seduce 2 is Cupid's chocolate on the 22nd. Cupid's job is to deliver love, but instead of spreading the joy, she accidentally makes one guy fall in love with several girls in a classic harem matchmaking. Bro had one job, but several arrows to go around. And this note, if you're into romance, comedy, and a little bit of goofiness, Cupid's chocolate is your sweet spot. Pun totally intended. This is another Chinese show that features a lighthearted comedy about love. The complications of being a literal god and trying not to ruin everyone's romantic lives. Hoi's life is going fine until the day he mistakenly eats a cake on his school's rooftop. He gets entangled with messy love confessions from super hot waifus. Because of this, the lame deep shit boys at his school decide to burn his behinds for betraying them and pulling the baddest girls. But of course, bro has to end his life by jumping off a building till Cupid lady shows herself. And yeah, he'll be worrying about multiple women for the rest of his life. Gets even crazier when Cupid also falls for him. So much for a divine being trying not to mess up human love life. The humor in this show is infectious, and the love story is cute with a healthy dose of supernatural charm. It's an adorable story mixed with a special kind of disaster, but I love it anyway. Brief disclaimer, someone's heart will be getting broken. Sliding into the 21st position, here's Convenience Store Boyfriends. Love blossoms everywhere, right? We know, we get it. The PDA at the park can stop now, but what happens when love blossoms at your local convenience store? This show is a sweet and laid-back anime that takes a charming look at love in the most unexpected of places. The story revolves around Haruki, a quiet and somewhat introverted high school boy who works at a convenience store. But that's not all. Though Haruki's character is bland and uninteresting, his one encounter with Miharu sets sail to a beautiful love story. Haruki's love life is full of those classic awkward, heart-fluttering moments that make you reminisce about your own teenage crushes. What's special about this anime is how it explores the relationships between not just Haruki and his romantic interest, but also the friendships and dynamics within his group of friends. And guess what? They all happen in that convenience store instead of a generic classroom. The beauty of Convenience Store Boyfriends lies in its simplicity. I mean, it's a high school drama where everyone's just trying to find their bubble-beating heartthrob. There's no overwhelming drama, just the relatable ups and downs of young love. And this is all set against the cozy backdrop of late-night shifts and casual hangouts. If you're in the mood for a heartwarming romantic anime that feels like a soft, cozy hug, here you go. It's perfect for anyone who enjoys stories that capture the magic in simple moments, with the added bonus of sweet, awkward romance. You'll love it.
言ってるよね。委員長可愛いって。
だから。
可愛いよ。
Coming in strong at number 20, we've got Unnamed Memory. So, in this one, our hero is a cursed prince. And it's not the regular kind of curse where the guy gets told he'd die as a teen or develops red eyes that have 3 floating dots in them. He's given a curse where he'll be unable to bear children and spends 15 years trying to undo this spell. He resorts to finding another witch for the job. He stumbles into a rather beautiful one. While bro was expecting crooked nails, a Pinocchio-inspired nose, and a black cloak, I guess he meets this adorable cutie pie and all the walls to his heart crumble. Together they set out to break the curse, which sounds cool, right? Except there's also some complicated romance brewing between them. You know, because it's hard to focus on breaking curses when you're caught up in that kind of romantic magic. This anime is basically a perfect blend of fantasy and romance with a side of heavy emotional baggage. The chemistry between the two main characters? On fire. They start as reluctant allies, but before you know it, their interactions have more tension than a high school love triangle. The sparks that fly are the kind of thing that happens when you're trying to light a fire with damp wood. Slow at first, but once it starts, it's hard to put out.
私はあなたを殺そうとした人間を決して許さない。
At number 19, right on the edge, we've got Sakurada Reset. Imagine if you had the ability to reset time, but only for specific people, and only in a specific area. Now throw in some high school kids and mix that with a series of complex emotional entanglements. That's Sakurada Reset. And when I say complex, I mean it. This anime will either make you or break you, and the creators chose to break me. Cries in HD. The main duo, Kai and Misora, live in a world where the people of the town possess abilities. One day, Kai meets Misora on the rooftop. Her ability is to reset time back to 3 days prior. No big deal. When she resets time, nobody in the world can tell except Kai, whose ability is photographic memory. While they combine their powers to work together and help struggling citizens, they get entangled in massive emotional garbage that complicates the ever-loving heck out of their feelings for each other. It's one of those intellectual romance shows that feels like a puzzle, but it's the way the characters slowly start to realize how much they depend on each other that'll leave you hanging on every word. It's not toxic, just complicated. And the 18th spot, just sneaking in, is The Tunnel to Summer, The Exit of Goodbyes. This one is super bittersweet. It's about 2 teenagers, Kaoru and Anzu, who discover a mysterious tunnel that can turn back time. Obviously, it leads to a lot of emotional baggage, because who wouldn't want to undo painful moments of their life? But as they try to change their past, they end up discovering something even more important than time itself: each other. Well, what makes it special is the perfect blend of fantasy and romance, even though it feels like it snuck into the plot. The tunnel itself represents what could happen if we're given the chance to relive our happiest or saddest memories. It's gorgeous, emotional, and thought-provoking. But don't get too comfortable because, like most good love stories, it'll leave you questioning the price of happiness. But oh boy, when it hits you, it hits you. It's a romance wrapped in emotional regret, and honestly, it'll punch you right in the feels. Sitting pretty at number 17, we've got Love Me, Love Me Not. Don't we all love a romance story with a romantic square and lots of emotional attachments? No? The relationship dynamic is as if someone drew an imaginary X between them. This brings us to Akari and Yuno, two high school girls with very different views on love, and Ryo, the guy who suddenly finds himself at the center of their developing feelings. Akari is a romantic dreamer who believes in the fairy tale version of love. She's all sparkling eyes, swoon-worthy moments, and lovey-dovey. Meanwhile, Yuna is convinced that love isn't about fairy tales. And then there's Ryo, the heartthrob at the center who is stuck in a landslide between falling for a stepsister Akari or their new neighborhood friend, Yuno. What sets this anime apart is how it plays with the dynamics of love and attraction. Love Me, Love Me Not isn't just about who ends up with whom, it's about learning what love truly means. In all its messy, complicated, and sometimes confusing forms. You'll laugh, you'll sigh, and you might even find yourself wondering if love really is as simple as a rom-com. Or as complicated as a high school love triangle. Either way, it's a delightful ride. Next up, Atri, My Dear Moments holds steady at 16th. In a futuristic romance setting, we have Atri and Natsuki. Natsuki is the cute guy who suffered from an accident. In his desolate world where half of humanity has been submerged by water, it breeds humanity's dependence on robots. One day he meets Atri, an android girl with a mysterious backstory. It's no surprise, bro starts falling for Atri despite her being a machine. I mean, who wouldn't? She's got eyes that can pierce through my soul. It's a little weird, but honestly, their growing bond will make you question if the heart can belong to something that's not human. This is the romance between a human and an android. Kind of like the sub-premise from that bro in Dragon Ball who fell in love with Android 18. But rather than being all about tech and robots, the show dives into the emotional side of what it means to put love into someone or something that's not alive. Another plus for me is the gorgeous animation that really captures everything. The sparks that fly are like emotional lightning. Love here is sweet, slow, and full of those technological moments. It's not toxic, but it'll make you ask some big questions about love, humanity, and the machine love language. At number 15, right in the middle of the pack, is Love Flops. One day you're the sock mop who can't approach a girl or pull a baddie, and then the next minute you have pretty girls with each hair color of the rainbow asking you to marry them. Now, that's one crazy activity. Right now we have this anime about a guy who somehow ends up surrounded by a bunch of cute girls who all claim to be in love with him. But does he even like them, or is he just confused? It's the usual harem romance, but with way more drama and emotional roller coasters, especially when his father consents to the uncanny union. The premise is simple, but what makes the anime a must-watch is the way the characters interact with one another. Just feels fresh and unique. There's drama, there's conflict, and there's a lot of awkward moments that'll have you cringing in the best way. You can't really tell who's meant for who until the final moment, and by then, you're invested way too much. And that's what we want. It's a bit chaotic, honestly, but hey, at least it's entertaining.
誰かさんが叩いたせいでちょっと潰れちゃったけどな。
ポケット。
Coming in at number 14, Blue Box. If you're looking for a romance that's equal parts heartwarming and frustrating, look no further than Blue Box. It's about our guy named Taiki, who's on the school badminton team. Yes, badminton, but don't laugh. He falls head over heels for a super talented, sporty girl named Chainatsu. She's basically everything he admires, but will he ever actually tell her? Or will he just awkwardly pine from the sidelines like a hopeless romantic? It's pretty much the latter, and he's not sorry about it. Blue Box is less about big dramatic moments and more about subtle, quiet longing and those little hints of affection that make your heart race. It's not about grand confessions, but rather about learning how to love someone quietly, through sports and personal growth. It's relatable, especially if you've ever had a crush and just had no idea how to express it, which is majorly why you still reek of singality. You can expect that gentle spark, but electric in all the right moments. And when will they finally connect? Oh, it's a sweet suspense. There's nothing toxic here, just classic young love with a bit of teenage uncertainty and all the awkwardness you'd expect. Sitting comfortably at number 13, we have Gold Kingdom and Water Kingdom. I absolutely love this one. It's a wholesome rom-com with a story that's part fantasy, part romance, and all about awkward royalty trying to figure each other out. Epic. The story follows Princess Sarah and Prince Naran. They're forced into an arranged marriage because nothing says true love like your parents deciding your future. Actually, their marriage is one of convenience to join their feuding kingdoms. Think of it like a fancy version of, hey, let's see if we could stand each other at Thanksgiving dinner. Except that this concept of dinner has way more royalty and fewer awkward family photos. Sarah and Naran's first meeting? A mess. But here's the thing. As they stumble through royal duties and those oh-so-uncomfortable first encounters, they start to understand each other and maybe even like each other. Why shouldn't you watch it? If you love the slow burn with a side of cultural clashes, and no, I don't mean their wardrobe choices, anime's for you. It's got that perfect mix of tension, funny scenes, awkward moments, and the kind of sweet romance that makes you believe in love. Ao-chan Can't Study makes it to the list and at 12th place. Ao is a high school girl with zero interest in romance because, thanks to her dad, she believes all men are the P word. Her dad's a romance novelist, so you can imagine the level of overexposure and damage. But then there's Koyoya, her super smart classmate who might just be the guy who changes her mind about love or possibly ruin her ability to ever look at men the same way. Ao-chan Can't Study is hilarious in its awkwardness, because while she wants to study, her unexpected crush on Koyoka sets her mind far back. She has to navigate the world of romance and attraction with severe baggage. But at the core of it all, it's about Ao learning how to trust her own feelings and understand what love actually is. Do sparks fly? Absolutely. They fly like fireworks in a windstorm. Awkwardly, but with undeniable force. Ao's struggle to balance her confusion and attraction to Koyoka is so relatable that you'll probably laugh until you cringe. At number 11, creeping closer to the top, is the experienced you and the inexperienced you. In this short-form romance, a more experienced girl in a relationship tries to help her super inexperienced and often clueless younger classmate navigate the confusing waters of love. That sounded too extra, but it is what it is. What happens when these two opposite ends of the relationship spectrum start getting closer? You guessed it, chaos and a whole lot of cuteness. But not the kind of chaos that throws you off. You actually blush at this one. It's a sweet brief ride through the awkward learning curve of relationships. Ryuto and Runa have to glide down the awkward hill and have to make sure their relationship works out for the better. One of them knows exactly what she's doing and the other is, utterly lost. It's slow, but it's worth the wait. Hey there, you're a 10 out of 10 and we're glad to have you here. Animechi is not pregnant, but you know we always deliver. It's our job to give the best top list, but how about you make us a 10 out of 10 channel by gracing us with your top-notchness when you hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks for that. Ooh-woo. Number 10, Singing Yesterday for Me. Moving on with the list, and at 10th place is Sing Yesterday for Me. Sing Yesterday for Me is a quiet, contemplative romance that follows Rikuyo, a guy who's stuck in a rut, and his emotional journey of trying to move on from his past while grappling with feelings for several women. There's the new girl and a childhood friend with an emotional dilemma that, for some reason, Rikuyo has to be responsible for. It's deep and definitely one of those shows that makes you think. A lot. Brief disclaimer, this isn't a flashy romance, it's raw and real. It explores what it's like to be an adult, deal with your past, and figure out where your heart is pulling you. The relationships are complex, and with a lot of emotional girth and miscommunication, so prepare for those kinds of moments. It's the type of anime where every decision feels significant. If you like your romance with a side of emotional frustration, this one's for you. It's guaranteed to have you in your mother flipper feelings. Sitting majestically at number 9 is My Sweet Tyrant. This one's for those who love an unusual dynamic. Akuen just randomly pulls a girl he wouldn't have imagined ever. Although it seems like there are some perks to it, Akuen can't relate to feelings. To sum it up, Bro finds the whole PDA annoying and often wishes the ground could open up and swallow him. Nevertheless, he's still very much in love and shows his affection in his own way. The guy might be a jerk sometimes, but ladies, you can permit this one and let it slide if he's affectionate, right? Well, that explains why he's the sweet tyrant. This is the kind of show that's like an offbeat love song. He doesn't always hit the right notes, but when it does, it's actually kind of cute. Crack at the top 8 at number 8, we have Osamake. Osamake is one of those rom-coms where you watch and wonder why you're rooting for the childhood friend. And yet, somehow they pull it off. The plot kicks off when Tsuharu Maru gets dumped by his first love, Kachi, the perfect cold-as-ice actress. Just when you think the guy's heart is broken beyond repair, his childhood friend, Kuroha, swoops in with one mission. I'm not losing to your new girl, you're mine, pal, kind of situation. Kuroha, who's like a mix of chaotic energy and surprisingly deep emotions, immediately starts making life difficult for Tsuharu, who's in the best way possible. You'd think it's all about sabotaging, but it's really about showing how much Kuroha knows him. Honestly, this show is a reminder that childhood friends have this unfair advantage. They've seen your worst moments, your dumbest mistakes, and your deepest secrets, and they still want you. That's true love, right? Why watch it? Because if you've ever felt like your childhood friend has a slight unfair advantage over your current crush, you'll totally relate to the romantic chaos. Plus, you can't beat the who gets the boy dynamic when the childhood friend is going all out and pulling all the cards on the table. If she can't have him, no one will. Now, number 7, we're getting to the real contenders with A Town Where You Live. The classic long-distance relationship dilemma. Yet, there is an added twist of, let's make it more complicated. No! It's truly romantic, but sad at the same time, especially when bro's first love interest keeps him second guessing. This anime follows Haruto, a guy who falls in love with the girl, Yuzuki. She abruptly moves to Tokyo, while he's stuck in their hometown wondering why baby girl did him dirty. He finds himself in Tokyo some years later, but now there's a new girl in his life. And what could be more complicated than that? It's a romance that explores the pain of separation and the heartache of growing up. You can feel the tension from a mile away, but the characters just keep avoiding each other's feelings. There's a lot of drama, but the good kind. The kind that makes you root for them to overcome all the miscommunication and finally find their way back together. Moving to the top 6, You Are Miss Servant. First off, I love this one. It sort of makes me wish I could have one adorable maid all to myself. But not as a kink. Please not as a kink. One day, Hito wakes up to a nameless girl dressed in a maid costume asking to become his servant. Don't know if the government is giving it as a bonanza, but yeah. Turns out she's also an assassin. Shocker. Hito gets scared and sends her away, but in the fleet of the moment, she ends up saving his life, making him reconsider his life choices. He takes her in and gives her a name that I will not be telling you. Okay, fine, it's Yuki. So, of course, they start off on the wrong foot, but surprise, they start getting closer, and shocker, they start falling for each other. You can take a wild guess where this goes and sticks with it. You'll watch the tension build like a slow motion crash, and somehow you won't mind it at all. It's cute, clumsy, and full of heart. And at number 5, the competition's fierce with My Clueless First Friend. This is one of those adorably goofy shows about a socially awkward girl. Akane is the emo of the class because of her gloomy attitude, style, and color preference. She almost never smiles, doesn't care about global warming, doesn't care that butterflies might be going extinct. Her classmates award her with the nickname Grim Reaper and are very careful not to get too close. But then again, here comes the new transfer student who doesn't pose her as a threat. Taoyu takes the chance to befriend Akane and see that she's made of. Of course, he finds the supernatural exciting and takes a liking to her. And this only results in many cute moments, red-hot cheeks, fluttering feelings, and some things Akane has never felt before. Bro manages to warm her heart, and yeah, the rest of guys start to see that maybe she's not such a bad person after all. This show gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling as you watch these two grow. It's lighthearted, sweet, and full of those moments where the connection's ethereal. Also, it makes us know we shouldn't judge a book by its cover kind of situation. At number 4, we've got How to Steal 55 Kisses. I'll be raising an argument when I say this is the most romantic Chinese show I have ever seen. If you think How to Steal 55 Kisses is about the main guy trying to find out how to get 55 kisses from the girl he likes, then you should be thrown out and stripped of your otaku badge. The story revolves around a girl who falls in love at first sight. The dude is handsome, almost like he walked out of a Christmas Wish on a TV show. She actively pursues him and finds out he attends her school. Sadly, the love story becomes complicated when her sister also confesses to being in love with the same guy. What's better than a simple love story? A simple love story with a challenge. This creates a build-up and a triangle so intense you feel it in the grit of your tooth. Who will win over this hot dude? Who will he choose? Who gets to keep their love and who lets go? Unrequited feelings, confession, jealousy, and yep, you can relate to how messed up high school love can be. You'll be rooting for them the whole time, even if you have to laugh at how extra it all is. To sum this up, I seriously think this is an undiscovered masterpiece. And now, in the coveted number 3 spot, we have Tenpuru. Tenpuru is another classic where girls fall in love with a bland bro. The only difference is that the girls would actually kill him if he doesn't reciprocate their feelings. So here's the deal with Tenpuru. It's about a guy who moves into a temple to escape his past and hopefully lead a quiet life. Sadly, this is disrupted when he gets caught in a romantic triangle. Classic, right? But what makes this one fun is the weird spiritual backdrop, the extra charming waifu, and the comedy. Tenpuru will have you laughing your butts off, but if you don't, you might as well come back to Seek Therapy for me. Watching this one feels like watching someone try to find inner peace while constantly getting distracted by their own feelings. Relatable, right? If you want a juicy romance story and the least chaos with a lot of cute waifus who can't choose from, this one's for you. The romance is less about dramatic twists and more about the slow, gradual unfolding of feelings. It's a little complicated, but ultimately charming. Almost there, but coming in at number 2 is 365 Days to the Wedding. You know, you watch some anime and can't help but fall in love over again. Yes, this is one of them. A couple has 1 year to plan their wedding, but not everything is as simple as the I do vows flying around. Starting off, they're workplace colleagues who get together as a result of convenience thanks to a new rule about singles who must relocate to another area. To prevent their sudden movement, they decide to act like it for 365 days. The couple who seem perfect for each other faces challenges, secrets, and doubts along the way. It's a roller coaster of a wedding countdown. Spoiler alert, there's drama. Always drama. And we love it. The show blends romance with some pretty realistic struggles. It's a slow burn romance that touches on the emotional messiness of figuring out love and commitment. You can closely feel the love and the tension as these two try to figure out what they really want. It's a love story that's adorable and gentle with real drama and two people learning how to be together despite all the messiness of life. And finally, at the top of the pyramid, number 1, the maid I hired recently is mysterious. In this quirky romance, a young man hires a maid, and she's mysterious. Is she hiding something? Maybe. Is it a supernatural secret? Could be. But what starts as a tense mystery soon turns into a sweet, somewhat complicated love story that have you guessing whether she's just a maid or something more. What you get is that perfect blend of comedy, mystery, and romance. You get drawn into her backstory and their evolving relationship. The mystery of her character adds a fun twist to the maid trope, while her master's pressured by her beautiful features and teases. The kind of sparks that fly are the mysterious kind. They're never entirely sure what's going to happen, but when they do connect, it's like a full-on thunderstorm of feelings. It's a beautiful romance story with a dash of intrigue. There's a lot of mystery, but it's not toxic that'll make you like only butterflies. That's a wrap, weebs, and thank you for sticking around. Tell us in the comments if you agree with this list and which anime should have made the ranks. You made it this far, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more tea. See you next time.